Hey geeks, Tim Tibbetts with MajorGeeks.com, and today we're going to look at Win.Privacy, another Windows 10 privacy tool. This one, like many of them, has its pros and cons, depending on what you're looking for. So let's go over that real briefly so you know if you want to keep watching and consider it. The biggest thing with Win.Privacy is the host file. You can quite easily undo your changes, but the majority of what this program does is managed through the host file. However, that does have nice little mouse overs here if I can get them to work on some of the stuff. There you go. And it has additional options, including blocking Windows telemetry IPs as known, Cortana, Windows error reporting. So if you went over here and just click fix, it would be fixed, and then you can reboot. So that's kind of the basics of it there. It has the extra tools. We'll come back to that in a minute. And again, you can open your host files. You can see this is what your host file looks like. As I've discussed before, pound signs, simply blank those out. So if you see a pound sign, that's what is seen when the host file is looked at. It doesn't see them. So we're not going to play around with that right now. So all we got to do is basically click Fix Privacy Issues, click Yes, and of course you will need to reboot to apply everything. So now, as you can see, as I mentioned, it ended here. Here's all the entries added. So what happens is 0.0.0.0. So if there was any communication between your computer and vortex.data.microsoft.com, it would just think it's going to 0000, which is nowhere. And that's how it blocks it. As you can see, it's not a ton, but it's got a few in here. But that's kind of not the end of it. We can come here into extra tools. Some of the stuff I'm not too sure about, like the email client, I don't really know why we need to bother with that. Text encryption, if you want to encrypt some text, with basically adding some different privacy stuff on top of the Windows 10 stuff. System information, pretty handy if you need it. And then, of course, the website blocker, which is more appropriate for this. So if you wanted to put in, I don't know, we'll see if we can play around with it, www.somewebsite.com. And hit block. Now we can open our host file, and let's see here, edit, find some web, and as you can see, Win.Privacy added it at the very bottom, so that's where you'd find anything you want. So the neat thing about that is if you play around and block something and it causes you a problem later, you can quite simply come in, open your host file, scroll it on down, and anything you entered will be at the bottom. So that's kind of neat. It's a different way to do it. A lot of the other programs do play with the host file. Some of them don't. But this is a neat way to do it because you can always come back in and edit, or if you have a problem, you can come in and find the problem with this simple search as you saw me use before. So let's undo the changes that were made. As you can see, enable Windows error reporting is set up there. Re-enabled and done, because once again, when it does do the undo the changes, it's not going to mess around with your host file, because you can very easily click, drag it, delete everything. Now this is how you look with a default host file in Windows 10. Click it, save it. Now as you can see, you're back to default. So once again, fix privacy issues, blah blah blah, and everything's back. So it's real easy to roll back, or, oh, wait a minute, I'm having a problem with this. I can search, I can find it, remove it. It's a text file, save it, call it a day. And that's about it. Once again, portable. So you'd have it in a folder, extracted, run it. Oops, I'm not in the folder. Is it over here? There we go. Yeah, the one that looks like a folder. And there you go. So pretty simple to use. I really do like the host file version, just because it gives you a little more controls. You know, a lot of you guys I've talked to here and there, you have difficulties with some of these programs, or they break stuff for you, and it doesn't really have a lot of stuff in here. And again, you can disable Cortana, reboot, come back, and you can always come into undoing changes and enable Cortana. So it's not going to remove everything for you and leave you high and dry. So pretty good choice. Give it a shot. I'll drop a link in the download location. Thank you for watching. See you next time.